Hey girls, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to talk about self-compassion. I noticed a lot of you girls were really interested in knowing how to basically pick yourself up during times when you're at a very low point in your life, or just at certain times whenever you're feeling down or just unhappy with yourself. And so I kind of just wanted to share with you all my step-by-step process on how I'm able to use self-compassion to help myself maneuver and navigate myself throughout this thing called life. So if that sounds interesting to you, then sit back, get some coffee, get some tea, some grapes, and let's chat about it. Here is my step-by-step process on how I go about showing self-compassion towards myself. So the very first step is to be fully present with yourself during the time of chaos, anger, sadness, uncertainty. Whatever it is that you're feeling, be fully there. And once you're fully there, you should feel this sort of stillness around you. I recommend you going to a place where you won't be bothered, somewhere quiet. And when you're fully present with yourself, whether you're crying or your heart is pumping because you're just so angry right now, begin to approach your angry self, your sad self, your worried self with this compassionate, gentle, and understanding spirit. And then you begin with the power of questioning, starting with, what am I feeling in this moment? And for those of you who are mad, you're feeling just angry. And for those of you who are sad, you're just like, I'm just sad as fuck right now. But what I want you to focus on is what triggered this emotion. Was it a comment that someone said? Was it something that happened and that just didn't go my way? Focus on what triggered that emotion. And so whatever answers begin to reveal to you, know that you have just revealed the surface level of what's really going on inside of you. And so now we want to probe deeper into our feeling, into that emotion. This is where we begin the process of self-reflection. A lot of us have past experiences of emotional baggage that we tend to carry with us throughout our life without ever going back to heal those wounds. And so by starting the process of self-reflection, we can then look back at our lives, see what's all happened to us that could possibly be the reason why we've ended up where we are today and are feeling the way that we are today. And so, for example, my past experience of emotional baggage would be starting from the age that I was 12. I was at a very uncertain time of my life. There was a lot of crises going on with my family and a lot of emotions that were going on within me that I didn't really know how to handle, that turned into depression and anxiety that led me to almost take my own life twice, that led to trichotillomania, which is an excess pulling of hair, and that also led me to pick at my skin from the top of my forehead all the way down to my legs, that I felt so ugly and unbeautiful that I couldn't even step outside without wearing big baggy clothes or packing myself with makeup. It was awful and it was exhausting and it was draining. And so throughout the years from middle school to high school, I carried that around me for the longest time. So any comment that someone made to me, any comment I felt it and it hurt me each and every time because I believed it. Because again, I was having my own struggle with self-love and self-worth. And I never really learned up until like this point how to actually go about the business of doing that. Right? So that's just my example of my emotional baggage. Whatever that is for you, really take the time in that moment to self-reflect on what could your emotional baggage be based on your past experience. Once that answer pops up in your head, you'd be like, oh, this is why I feel the way I do. Because of my past experiences with bullying, self-worth, insecurities. It's based off all these past experiences and all these factors that took place in my life that has led me to come to this point. You have now just reached the point of realization. So once we hit that point of realization, we then begin to bring out our inner truth. We are now approaching our wounded self with our inner truth, and we speak to it words that will bring light to our wounds. And so the very first step that our inner truth will do is to normalize the emotion, right? Your inner truth comes to you and says, this is completely normal. You are supposed to feel this way based off of everything that you've gone through. It is absolutely normal for you to be feeling this way. And once your inner truth normalizes it, it then goes ahead and starts to reassure you that you are healing, you are making progress, and that you are getting through it. We are speaking from a place of inner truth where there is wisdom and there is self-assurance. Your wounded self will begin to dry up those tears and to breathe in inner peace. And it'll be able to just breathe and be okay again. For those of you who try this and say, well, Aksa, that's just not enough. That's just not enough for me. The reassurance isn't enough for me. I still feel like this way and X, Y, and Z. Well, I'm going to tell you, in order for this process to work, you must also come into it trusting in yourself. You must have trust in yourself in order for this to work. Because of course it won't work if you don't believe in yourself, if you don't trust yourself. That's why it's so important to recognize that there is a part of you that is wise and is self-assured, and that is always there ready to help you during times of sadness and anger and uncertainty. It is always right then and there to help you. So you better call that girl your best friend, because she will always show up for you. She always shows up for me, and that's how I have been able to make the progress and be where I am today in order to make this video. So thank you, best friend. You gotta thank your best friend. So that's the next process after the self-assurance, is appreciation. Yes, that's my favorite word, gratitude. That's the game changer. That's self-appreciation. You've got to appreciate yourself just as much as you show compassion to yourself. Once you guys are done with the tears and you guys are able to breathe, you maybe even start to laugh. But don't ever, ever, ever forget to thank yourself for being there for yourself, for showing up for yourself when you most needed yourself to show up. Thank yourself. Give yourself a hug or something, like embrace it. Embrace it, because you have just now broken through. You have just now broken through that wound, that emotion. And I want you to know right now that self-compassion, self-love, self-appreciation, it's a process. And it's a process where you will only make progress. And so for you to show up for yourself each and every time, day in and day out, you will not only make progress with your self-love, but you will eventually live into your own truth. And all of our truths are remarkable, extraordinary parts of ourselves, because it's the most authentic versions of ourselves. And so when we are able to show up with that every single day, day in and day out, we then begin to align ourselves with our truest self. Because it is a process, it's a never-ending process, I should say, I want you to also go into this with patience. So just as it is important for you to be gentle, to be compassionate, and to be understanding with yourself, it's also important to be patient with yourself. Because again, you're healing, you're making progress, and you're getting through it. So thank you guys so much for listening and tuning in today. That is all that I have for you. And I really hope that this could really help you unlock your own light and help you shine that light upon your own wounds and help you become your truest, most authentic self. Please come back to this video whenever you most need it. Write this down. I really hope you guys took out a journal for this, okay? Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I love you guys so much. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button if you want to see more content like this, and feel free to follow me on Instagram. I love you guys so much, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Sending all love and good vibes to you. It's all love. It's all love. Love you. Mwah.